Wow, that was powerful. So I felt the tingling as you were speaking in the beginning, tingling sensation in my fingertips. But what was even more powerful is when you said it's going higher and higher, that energy is expanding, expanding. The top of my crown, like my head started tingly, like there was like this little like tingly stuff. And I was like, ooh.
The difference between usual life coaching and rapid transformational coaching, the beauty in rapid transformational coaching is that we can work with the entire spectrum. It's a multidimensional approach where we go towards the future, but we can also look in the past what we did. And we can work with the conscious mind, but also the subconscious mind. Hi everyone, I'm here today with Olivia again, and I'm so excited. I can't wait what she's telling me what happened since last week. And I hope everyone who is watching this video can get a lot out of that. And now, Olivia, this time is all for you.
Hi,
Hello, how are you?
I am Monica. I am, as you can see, I'm smiling even more, and I feel like I'm also beaming from the inside. So, this past week was just amazing. Number one, thank you so much for sending over the sessions notes because I think it was by reading the session notes and you were really detailed. Um, I could go back and actually, in my mind, our sessions were very, very vivid. For my organizations, we came up with my fingers coming together, and this would actually connect with my neural pathways in my brain saying, okay, we love to organize, organizing is fun, creative, and so on and so forth. And what I realized this past week, I didn't even have to place my hands together, which astounded me because my mind was starting already to start to organize things. And I was so organized. I even, I surprised myself. I said to myself, wow, not once did I even have to bring my fingers together. And it was just that, that excitement after, number one, the other people recognized like I was very organized, not that they knew me from before, but that boosted my confidence. And it gave me kind of like a natural high because I was just like, yeah, I can do this. This is not drudgery. This is not boring. This is not what my mind used to think. And I'm okay with even acknowledging and recognizing that's how I thought. But now I'm on a new thought wave, thought pattern. And yeah, this past week has been incredible. So I have to tell you, I also got a gig, an offer. Someone reached out, and this is someone from the past reaching out for me to do a job for them as an editor. And I'm like, whoa!
Amazing. Oh my God. Thank you for sharing this. That's really beautiful. And oh my God, you are radiating, you are glowing. It's just like amazing. And yeah, I'm so happy for you that you can see this change and that you can now just move forward. And it sounds like fun.
It is. I am super excited. And as I said, I mean, our sessions really unlocked something within. And I'm excited also to announce to you that I'm really super like looking forward to taking the final for RTT, the exams and whatnot. And yeah, I'm feeling super on top of the world right now. I feel as if I'm limitless. Like I don't have those limiting beliefs stopping me. So I'm unstoppable now. I'm like unstoppable. I just want to keep going, going, going.
Oh, that's amazing. I'm so happy. So you are unstoppable, and you just want to go and move. And that's so great. And that's something we really, really want to remember ourselves when we have this phase, when we are in this high, when we are on top of everything, so that we really internalize this feeling. We really remember this feeling, because life, it's normal. We go up and down and up and down. I mean, we don't have to go, we never go back where we were. We never go to the deepest valleys where we have been, because we removed some things. We worked on the past. We worked on your path. We removed things. We cleared things. We just now, when you are in this super high, what I want to say is just really, really take your time and celebrate it. Celebrate it, be with it, and really soak it in
Mm,
every cell of your being.
I'm doing that right now. Yes, yes.
It's amazing. It's
Thank you
amazing.
for the reminder. You're so right about the ups and downs of life. And I'm riding this high wave. So I can store that bit of information that you just offered and keep it in the back of my head, because it is true. If I do go dipping low into life, I'll have to just bring forward our sessions, not only our sessions, but you gave me a tool. So if I'm ever in a place of like, I'm really, really low and I'm not riding this high wave, I can at least bring my fingers together. And so I said to myself, this is one thing I know will work. And I didn't have to use it this past week. Again, like I said, because I'm riding that high wave. But like you said, when life hits those bumps and I'm low, then I have those tools. And so I can't thank you enough.
Thank you. It's your work. I'm just giving you little hints and little options that you chose to use, you chose to be open, and that's why it makes it so successful for you and your journey. And when I was talking about these ups and downs, what we have to understand is how our mind works is that it by default will always remember the negative things. So that's why when we are in a low mode, we remember and we say, yeah, it's always like that, and I was always like that, and it was always a struggle, instead of remembering, oh wow, I mean, I know how it feels to be on top of everything, to
Yeah.
just enjoy everything. And that's why we actively have to internalize these feelings, and even having a list of these feelings or scenes or moments where
Mm.
we can switch to whenever we are low. And this
Yes.
is something I developed very early. Even with my best friends, we had really this switch list. That's how we called it. It's just like whenever we feel low and down and we think that nothing works, and the ceiling is falling on our top, it's just like we know, oh, the switch list. What scene can we take now in order to interrupt this frequency when we are low? And this is, so one scene could be now that you
Yeah.
have this feeling, you just got this offer, you got this editing job, you feel on top, you feel just everything falls in place, and you know better than me. So, but really, what I want to say is like intentionally memorizing and storing these high moments, and then we have it the rest of our life for us to go to when we need to switch our frequency.
I love this. I'm making a notation. I mean, I know you're going to have this in our sessions notes, but I want to write this down so that as I'm writing it, I feel like, as you said, internalizing this moment is going to be critical to, like, moving forward. It's normal for ups and downs to occur, but you're right. we're by default always going to the negative, and it's always a downhill kind of slope. So thank you for saying that. I never even thought about that. Never even thought about tapping into those good moments when I'm feeling really low. I don't think any of us really like practice that, because in my opinion, if I did practice that, then I would feel less impacted by those negative moments. I would know, like, if I had that, like this feeling that I have right now stored, and if, I just remember as I'm writing this and I'm remembering what it felt like, the sensations, the feelings of like just feeling light in my body, feeling confident, feeling joyous from within. It's not my normal state of being all the time, but to be able to have that and say, oh, I can recall that feeling, what was I feeling inside, and maybe get things moving on the inside to shift whatever may be happening. um, Thank you for that. Yes.
Yeah, amazing. And that's why last time we anchored the feeling, and you chose to put these fingers like that together. And that's why we anchored it. So, this is something, this is an additional trick we can use to anchor any feeling. And then we recall it whenever we need it, when we are low. And if you like, we can do it right now also with the new feeling, just to practice it, and then you can do it alone. You don't need me anymore. And that's the goal, that you
Yeah.
can use all the tools for yourself alone. You don't need me then anymore.
Perfect.
So, okay, so now when you feel this feeling, describe me this feeling that you feel right now, this beautiful feeling you were talking about.
So I love images, and as you know, since I'm studying RTT, one of the rules of the minds is like, um, your mind responds to images. And so the image that came up with the feeling that I'm feeling is when you're on a beach on a beautiful sunny day, and all of your cells are just relaxed by the sun rays. The If there is a wind, it's a gentle wind, but even the ocean being gentle and the waves coming into the ocean. And as you're lying there on the sand, there's just this such a relaxing feeling that many of us often fall asleep. So that's the feeling. My high feeling is that, where it's comfortable, it's relaxing, it's just a letting go of like any, there's no fear, for instance. So it's a freeing sensation, and at the same time relaxing. So
Mm.
the other thing I find is in the excitement, what happens is like of course, I start to smile, but my smile is not only external, it's internal. I feel my heart smiling. I feel almost like my cells dancing, uh, just with excitement. And that excitement is, I've never won the lottery, but I have to say, if I were to win the lottery, that's what it would feel like. Like you're so excited
Mm.
something, and you're like inside you're going, ah. So
I
excited.
love it. I love it. So let me reflect this back to you. You have this beautiful high feeling, and that's the same feeling. It's high and it's excitement, but at the same time, it's a relaxation. It's a relaxed feeling, as if you would lay at the beach in the sand, and almost before you fall asleep, just this feeling of being super comfortable, and there is excitement, but a beautiful, relaxed excitement of letting go. And you're not only smiling externally, but also internally. It feels like your heart is smiling and your cells are dancing. And that's beautiful. And you already said you feel your heart smiling, but when you would describe this feeling physically, where in your body do you feel it most, and how does it feel, a sensation?
Mm. So I do feel it starting from my shoulders down into the into the rest of my body down to the soles of my feet. I have to think about this, Monica. So
Maybe
it's
you want to close your eyes and instead of thinking in your head, just feeling on your body and whatever comes up, there is no right or wrong. Just these words that come up from inside are exactly the right ones.
okay. So my body feels like it has energy. This energy feels like I can just take on anything. I can do anything. I can take on anything, and you're correct. It has nothing to do with my mind, but more so the energy level that I'm feeling in my body, and it feels vibrant. It feels um, filled with this electrical uh, power almost that can take on any task. Um, Feeling limitless and feeling happiness, I guess.
Happiness, yes, amazing. And when you now think and feel this feeling from your shoulders going down the rest of your body until the soles of your feet, your entire body is filled with this feeling, this energy that you can take on anything, you can do anything. It's so vibrant, it's so filled with this electrical power that you can take on anything, you can do whatever you want. It's so limitless. And it's a happy feeling. And the sensations of this feeling, do you feel any tingling or warm feeling or cold or what do you feel?
I was going to say, I actually feel a warmth. As a matter of fact, my hands are getting nice and toasty and warm. Um, and initially, I feel like a tingling sensation come down, like the shoulders, as I was describing, like down the torso. Um, but it's more of a warmth.
Warm feeling, like a tingling sensation that was expanding through your body. This warm feeling, and I want you to stay in that feeling now, to really focus on that feeling. Only on this feeling, this beautiful feeling of happiness and excitement, this internal and external smile, where the cells are dancing, where you just feel and know that you can take on anything and you are limitless and you are just happy. And this feeling now, Olivia, when you focus on that, you make it stronger and stronger right now just by thinking and focusing and feeling it. You make it stronger and stronger. And again, if you like, you can visualize even a scale and it goes up this feeling. It already went up so high until 1,000 and it goes higher and higher, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000, and it goes higher and higher, 10,000. And before we hit the top, I want you now to anchor this feeling in your fingers. And for that, you can bring two fingers or more fingers together, and I see that you already bring your fingers together and there you anchor this feeling. That means this feeling for now and forever is anchored in this movement. When you bring all these fingers together, you will always recall this feeling. And now we make it even stronger and stronger. And it was already at 10,000. We go up 20, 50, 100,000. This feeling is so high, so strong, so powerful, and so beautiful. And it's always there within you. And there now, here, you anchored it in your fingers and you can recall it whenever you want. It's always there within you, remembered from every cell in your being. And stay in this feeling as long as you want to. Whenever you're ready, you can open your eyes.
Wow, that was powerful. So I felt the tingling as you were speaking in the beginning, tingling sensation in my fingertips. But what was even more powerful is when you said it's going higher and higher, that energy is expanding, expanding. The top of my crown, like my head started tingly, like there was like this little like tingly stuff. And I was like, ooh. So
Amazing.
that I could feel the, when I said the ooh, because it was rising, it literally felt like it was rising from below, rising, rising up. And when it reached up here and the tingles just kept going, and it felt like it was just going outwards and rising up. And that sensation, I I physically, viscerally feel it. Like I feel it on a cellular level. Yeah,
Mm.
that I've not
Mm.
really
Beautiful.
attention to. Yeah, it was really, I felt the movement. I felt like, yeah, the intensity of it and the expansion of it. It was beautiful.
I
Thank you.
love it. I love it. Yes. And that's so important to know. If we know that our mind will by default only remember the negative states and memories and feelings, that's so great if we know it, because we can use this rule of the mind and say, okay, then I actively choose to store with intention all these beautiful feelings within me and remember them and anchoring them in the body with a movement of fingers, which you chose this again, which is beautiful. And when we this know, you already know now, when you will go a little bit down, or an obstacle comes, whatever it is, or sometimes we just feel low energy, whatever it is, you know what to do now to recall this beautiful, vibrant feeling of expansion and happiness, right?
Yes, yes, yes. I'm sorry.
Amazing. Amazing. So
This,
this
this is a,
session,
so my
yeah, go
cat is
ahead.
joining us again. I was going to say, this is like so amazing. I was not at all expecting this to happen in a coaching session. It, like, I didn't really have expectations. Even feeling the results is so fast. That's what I was not expecting. I thought that this would be something where I would have to really, kind of work on and practice, and I'm feeling the effects or the impact of it already, like immediately. Really,
Thank you so much.
you're so welcome. I just wanted you to know this because I mean, I've done other work. Not well, I've had a life coaching session with someone, and it required, yes, of course, work on my part, but the results were not noticeable for like until maybe, I would have to say like a year later, where I could notice like a difference, like I could see a difference with a year. With here, I can see the shift like immediately. Like it was right after our session, all of a sudden things just shifted.
Mm, thank you. Yeah, I mean, two things I want to say for that before we continue is first, like we said one time already, everything you did before was not working, but the iceberg, it's only 5% what we see, and 95% is under the surface. So everything you did before was amazing and great, and you did a lot of work. And we never know if it worked or not until it comes to the surface. And what we did is it came to the surface. But this being said, the difference between usual life coaching and rapid transformational coaching, the beauty in rapid transformational coaching is that we can work with the entire spectrum. It's a multidimensional approach where we go towards the future, but we can also look in the past, what we did. And we can work with the conscious mind, but also the subconscious mind. And I also bring the body with all this, because in the body we store not only the trauma, but we can also store the beautiful feelings. So it's a holistic and multidimensional approach. And why it works so well is because you do the work. It's not that you sit there and you expect me to make magic. You are willing to go the extra mile, and you're working. So that's a testimony for yourself.
Mm, thank you. Thank you. Yes. Thank you for that acknowledgement. Um, yeah, sometimes, yeah, I'm like probably a lot of people where when you go to see somebody or you have an exchange with someone, you're expecting them to help you, but they're really there just to assist you to find your own way on your path. But I have to say, even with your words, though, Monica, the words that you're choosing and your own format is just illuminating. And that sensation, you're right, because I've done a lot of trauma response work, and I know a lot about how trauma is stored in the cells. And I never, until you just said it, never thought about, well, yeah, we can also store those good feelings. Um, and the trauma seems to me like to weigh heavily, and and so it just like how can I put this? It sometimes it overshadows those good moments, or those good moments or those good feelings are very short lived, is what I'm thinking. And I've never had the mechanism to be like, oh, well, yes, okay, you're in a very low moment or depressed moment right now. So recall the moments where you felt, this exuberance, and you felt life moving through you, because that's what it felt like, the tingling. It felt like life, like I'm alive, I'm really alive, with this sensation that I can feel physically. And to recall that now, I'm seeing what you're saying is to be able to, in those very low moments in life, tap into that and just retrieve that in those specific moments, so that the impact again is not as very depressed. And then also I don't go down the rabbit hole of going into a dark space because that's usually the thing. Once you get depressed or you hit that line, then everything just keeps going down, 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 dark, 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 dark.
Exactly. It's all about the focus, right? If we go down and we focus more on why do we feel depressed now, well, our mind will give us 100 reasons why we feel depressed. But if we focus on the feeling and remember, this feeling was there, how and why do I feel better every moment, then our mind will give us also 100 reasons. And why it works so much with the body in both ways. Like, in one hand, the trauma is stored in the body, we know that. But when the trauma is stored with all its frequencies and layers in the body, then the same rule must apply to positive emotions and feelings. So we can actively store them also. And what happens, because you beautifully explained how everything changed physically and you felt this tingling, we immediately change our chemistry in our brain and in our body when we tap into that and really feel it and practice that. And that's all about it. The mind learns by repetition, our subconscious, everything within us learns by repetition. So the more often we practice being happy, as weird as that sounds, the more happier we will be, because this will be our normal and our mind is used to that. So this is something why I'm spending so much time also on celebrating your successes, celebrating this feeling, going into that feeling. Sometimes in our coaching sessions, it's so important to have this huge transformation. You come with a problem, and we, even the best case, we can resolve it or transform it. But sometimes coaching is also about that. It's about celebrating your successes. It's about for you to see how far you have gone, how much work you have done, and to store all these yummy feelings and this chemistry, to release all these beautiful hormones in our brain, to really store this in every cell of our body.
Yes, I completely agree. Yeah, I've never done this before. So I have a question. Since I did not have, well, it's not that I didn't have to use it, but I didn't feel the need to use like my fingers come together. I want to ask you, if I do put it into practice now, will I just reinforce it much more?
Yes, definitely. And it already, while you were asking, you were already answering yourself because you knew it intuitively that yes, the more often we practice, the more we get used to it, whatever it is, to however we stored our feeling. And you use this beautiful movement. Yes, practices. And you can even right now put the fingers together and see if what happens.
Yeah, I feel the tips start to tingle.
Amazing. Exactly. And this is what I would really recommend to practice as often as you can. Whenever you have, we have so many this empty moments where we wait for a bus or we do whatever it is. So this little minutes in between, and that's the most important also. I always want to encourage you what we do, and I know you do also. I don't have to tell you that, but it's not about having a great coaching session or doing the things in this hour we have together. It's about bringing it into your life. How can you wave it into your everyday life, into the simplest tasks you do? And this is how we do it. We just practice all the time. Whenever we have a minute left or in between, or you can even set yourself an alert on your phone. Every hour, I will practice this feeling or whatever it is you're working on. But yes, of course, I really, really recommend to practice it as often as you can and then see what happens. We will see.
Yeah, I will see what happens. And I love the suggestion about putting an alarm on my clock. So maybe every hour is just for it to go off and then a reminder. That's beautiful. I've done that before with breath work. Yeah, I don't know why I didn't even think about that, but thank you for that suggestion.
Amazing, amazing, yeah. So we now we spend a lot of time in celebrating, in anchoring this beautiful feeling, and also acknowledging that you were willing and open for this transformation to go this to work on yourself because it was not fun to go there deep back to the wounds, but you
Mm,
did.
yeah,
And therefore, you could work on it and transform it. And that's why you could make this huge leap from feeling overwhelmed and fears and all this
yeah,
stuff from the past, which you could let go. And now feeling like on the top,
yes,
in the flow, excited and happy. And that's great that we did and spent so much time on that. But now, Olivia, is there anything else, or what is it that you would like to spend the rest of the time that's left for us today? Is there anything you want to work on?
mm, that's a really good question. Um, Gosh, I felt like we did so much work, Monica. Like right now, it feels as I'm still integrating our work and moving forward, I'm actually applying all the tools that you've given me. And again, I can't thank you enough for the sessions notes, because the session notes also allowed me to read it, and I love to read things. So I'm also a visual person, and I know you record these sessions as well. So what's really nice is that with the tools that you've actually given me, while I can't think of anything I would want to work on in this moment, I feel like this is going to carry me to the other, you know, whatever other subjects or topics that may emerge that I would need to work on.
Amazing, yeah. And that's sometimes also good to know. Okay, this session was totally for celebrating, totally for going into this feeling, for anchoring it again, for giving you little hints and tips how you can even more and more practice that. And then sometimes a coaching session ends before the hour because sometimes we need longer. And what I do, I'm my coaching is also very intuitively and very, very personalized. Every person is unique and every session is unique. And sometimes it's just the right time to, like you said, give yourself the space and time to apply it, to internalize it even more, to use that what we have done until now, and then next time we see what's coming up. And I'm so happy to see you then next week. So if that's okay for you, then I would close for today with this coaching session, which was full of celebration, full of anchoring this great feeling. And we see each other then next week and work on whatever's coming up.
That's perfect. I love that. And I just want to say thank you, thank you, thank you. And even as I'm saying thank you to you, I feel like thank you doesn't really represent what I feel in my heart this moment, like this infinite gratitude, Monica, for you. I can't wait to utilize these tools. And then, yes, to check in with you next week to just see what happens. And today was also very magical to me because I don't really celebrate often. I'll put it that way. So when you said, yes, let's celebrate, I'm like, okay, yes. I'm like, yes, why not celebrate? Because it doesn't really dawn on me to like celebrate these things. I'm just in the moment of being happy. But when you did use the word celebrate, I said, you know what? Yes, this is a celebratory moment. But I never took it as that. So thank you for taking this session to just really not only unpack, what we did, but really like be in the moment of this celebratory, you know, time.
Yeah, thank you. And just one little thing, because thank you so much for your nice words and all of that. I really appreciate it, and I really love to work with you also because you work on yourself very much. And that's one thing I want to add on a little bit. Thank you for these nice words, and you thanked me so much, but don't forget to thank the one person who did the most work, and that's you.
Oh, wow. Thank you for saying that. Yes. Um, yes, in this moment, I'm fully receiving that. And I'm also acknowledging I don't do that enough. Is to recognize my own work. And yeah, that's, you know what? Maybe that might be something you and I would need to work on next session because I'm not very good at recognizing and acknowledging myself
Mm-hmm.
and my
Yeah. And when you
my-
say that, I mean, this is something we I love to work on that with you next time. But when you say I'm not good in celebrating, I naturally don't celebrate this kind of thing. I naturally don't thank myself. It's not you, it's how our mind, again, how our mind is wired. That's how the human brain works. So you don't do anything wrong. It's just how our mind by default works. Because, and also how society trains us. We have to look on the goal, we have to reach our goal, we have to finish this, and we have to do that. And then we look, when we go the mountain up, we look towards the top. But sometimes it's so important to stop wherever we are and look how far we have come, and look down and celebrate ourselves like we did today. Be grateful
Mm,
and thank ourselves, praise ourselves.
mm,
And that's something I would invite you to do today, like really celebrate. Today is the day of celebration for yourselves, how far you have come. But also, until we see each other next time, to really write down everything you can think of you've accomplished. And this can be this last year, this last weeks, whatever you want to. And then see how you feel. And praise yourself while doing that. Celebrate yourself and thank yourself. And then we see how we will work on that, what you just mentioned, or if
Yes.
it's still necessary. Let's see what comes up.
Let's see. Yes. It's interesting because when you use the word praise, inside of me, I felt like, oh, that's foreign. Um, so praise is not something that I grew up with. I was like, my parents were not into too much praising. I just want to say really quickly, because in my mind right now, Monica, when you use the word praise, I said, oh, that one I'm not familiar with. The
So,
celebration.
and just knowing that, I'm sorry to interrupt you here, this is something you're not familiar with. How can
No.
you make yourself familiar with?
Uh, yeah, I don't know. How could I make myself familiar with praise? I'm not used to telling myself anything. So,
Exactly, but you can make it familiar. First of all, you start. Just do it, even if it feels weird. If you need a fuel, a feeling which brings you into the right frequency, use your anchor and just do it. Even if it feels weird at the beginning, I recommend doing it every day. It doesn't have to be a whole page and doesn't need to take 1 hour. But if you write 5 lines or 3 lines, you praise yourself, what you can praise yourself for. And even if you write every time the same, doesn't matter.
okay.
Observe how you will be feeling. And if it feels weird at the beginning, and then know that's because it's unfamiliar. And you know already, our mind will always make things which are unfamiliar let us feel weird because it doesn't want us to change. But how can we then change in despite of that? Well, doing it, just
Mm,
pushing through this uncomfortable feeling that comes with expanding the comfort zone. So
mm,
even in these things, we have to train ourselves in that way. So if praise feels unfamiliar, then do it even more often. Then do it despite of this feeling of unfamiliarity. And same at the same time, observe what's coming up. And then you will learn a lot about yourself.
wow.
But praise also alone, when you will do that, I'm curious what you will tell me next week, because there are no words so powerful than the ones you tell yourself. And I'm sure you've heard this from Marissa Peer. And if we praise ourselves regularly, if we start our day with 3 lines of self-praise, then our self-esteem has no other chance but raising, 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 right?
Okay. Yes. I'm going to do that. And as you were speaking, I already felt the resistance in my mind. It was like, oh, I could already feel like, no, this is a bit weird. It's more than weird because it's like, no, I don't really even know where I'm going to start with that, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to, I'm going to put, like you said, 2 or 3 words, right? 2 or 3. Monica, this is a tough assignment. I'm not gonna do
I
this is
know, I know, but I know also you can do this. And sometimes when we do these challenges, it doesn't matter so much what the outcome is. It's not so important which words you use. But what's most important is what you will learn on the way while doing this. And that's why I say also observe yourself, because you will discover so many things about yourself. But at the same time, when you praise yourself, you feel good. But it can be that it will uncover something which was there hidden down. But it's
mm,
good because here we know it comes on the surface, and that's the only way how it can disappear. And you just keep on doing it until it becomes a habit. And when it's a habit, it's normal. And
Okay.
I'm sure it's the same like as a child. I mean, and I see it on my son. When I tell him, go brush your teeth, he says, no, I don't want to.
Mm.
But as an adult, no one has to remember us to brush our teeth. It's just a habit. We would always do it. No one has to remind us. And the same with these things. We can just make it a habit so that it's so deeply wired in ourselves that we make it automatically.
Yes.
And we can choose which habit we want to develop and which we want to let go of. And why not develop these ones where we know it will raise our self esteem? It will change our chemistry in our brain. It will change our personality and therefore our entire life.
Mm.
And at the beginning, it might feel weird, but we just
Mm.
do it because the good feeling doesn't have to be there before we do something, it comes while we are doing.
Okay. Can I ask you just one question?
You
So,
can ask me as many as you want.
do you have phrases that are self-praise phrases or words for self-praise that you use for yourself?
That's a good question. What I do when I, at the moment, don't know what to write or what to put there is I'm looking at what I've done the last week or the last year and what I'm grateful for. What are you grateful for right now in
Mm.
regards? I mean, you can even watch this recording we have now. You will say you will get so many nuggets of gold out of that because you started this conversation already with what happened. You're on top.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, what are you grateful for? Answer just these questions. It will lead you.
Um, in this moment, now that you're saying that, I'm grateful that I showed up. And I showed up for myself, like you said. And I don't, I don't generally acknowledge that. That's not
But you
something
did now.
I
So
did.
you can exactly use this. Well
Uh,
done. You can write it down and even using your name. Well done, Olivia, that you showed up for yourself. Well done, Olivia, that you did so many things and you transformed this overwhelm into an overview. You are now on top.
yeah,
Amazing work, Olivia, that you worked so hard on yourself that you could liberate yourself from the fear of failure and rejection.
yeah. Oh my gosh, I love that. Yes. Okay.
And
Yeah.
if it, there's a little trick I used, and it might help you too. If it feels so hard, there is really this resistance, you can. Then two options. You can think you would tell it your best friend and write it as if you would tell it her. Or I think in your case this also works, and it's the better option. You tell it to your inner child.
Oh wow. Okay. That one, yeah. Oh wow, yeah. Because that little one, she never received anything. Well, praise, I would say. I mean, she did receive love, but praise was not a thing. So, okay, I can do that. I can. So,
Amazing. Yeah, and so you see, and this combined is then also this inner child work, which the praise alone also is, but now you address it really directly again, this
mm,
inner child work. And play around with it. There is no right or wrong. And what I tell you are just suggestions, but it's not a rule. So you take out whatever you like
okay,
and change it and adapt it for how it works for yourself. And that's the perfect form for only you,
okay,
your unique being, your unique needs.
okay, that works. So, my next question to you would be when I do the praising, it can not only be for recent things that have happened, it can it be also, since you brought up my inner child, like saying things to her that she never received or she wished she had heard. Um,
That's it. Yes, yes, of course, yeah. This is this is also, you can also address her, the inner child, and say, Olivia, amazing work, or well done for, or I admire you for, or I really love you for. That's all the same. And there are no limits and there are no rules.
okay, okay,
It's just like you will find out while doing. It's like you go and there is no right or wrong. There is nothing that you can do wrong in this thing except not doing it. You will also find out when is the best time in the day where you can bring it in. Because what I've learned also is when we want to establish a habit, it's very helpful to do it at the same time over and over again. And for myself personally, if you don't mind sharing, when I started it, it felt super weird.
yeah,
And that's why I do it first thing in the morning. First thing in the morning of my working day. So before I write my to-do list,
mhm,
or when I write it, the first to do is praise yourself. And then I can write all the other things. And before I even leave this list, which I have a Word document open, I use the same document to not have any excuses to look for other things. And I type it right in there. So to
okay,
make it as uncomplicated and easy as possible so that there are no excuses.
okay,
So for me, it works best in the morning, but you will find out and play around with it and you will see. And then you look back and see, okay, when I did it in the morning, I didn't do it so regularly. I often forgot, I didn't feel good. But when I did it in the evening, that's where I kept doing it over and over again. So you
mm,
will find out for yourself. And how can we find out? By doing it?
okay. All right. I will put that into practice. Yes. And I'm
Yes.
feeling kind of weird about it, but okay. Yes.
Yes. Okay. You feel kind of weird about it. And let's take this as an opportunity to practice what we did at the beginning of this session. Bring your fingers together and see what happens. You bring your fingertips together and you focus. You focus on a feeling.
Mm.
What feeling is coming up?
Feeling excited yet calm, feeling that extra energy and joy.
Beautiful. And now you can make it again stronger and stronger, as strong as you like. No limit, limitless. This
Mm.
happy feeling, this warm feeling, this tingling feeling, this vibrant feeling, where you smile not only externally but also internally. Your heart is smiling and the cells are dancing. You can make this feeling as high as you want to, as intensive as you want to, just by focusing. And you see right now how well it works, and it will always, it's
Mhm.
always there.
It's working really, really well.
Amazing. So you see, whenever you get lost in your head, how should I do this? And that maybe it will feel weird when I do this. No, forget about all that. Away from the head, into your body. Use your anchor to bring this feeling up. And in this frequency, yes, you start. You know, there's no right or wrong. You just write words. It's nothing but that.
As you were speaking and as I was bringing my fingers together, I felt the tingling sensation. And in that moment, I silently said in my head, I'm grateful, you showed up. So thank you for showing up for all your sessions. Thank you for really just putting in the work. That actually felt good. Well, I wouldn't say good, neutral, okay? but the sensation in my body was excitement. So the words kind of like settled down a little bit, and that the thought of weirdness, because I was thinking, okay, this is going to be so weird. But the minute you said no, leave that behind, just don't even think about that, I was able to override that resistance, I guess. It still felt like I was a little bit resistant, but it felt comfortable, not like, oh no, I can't do this because it doesn't resonate.
Yeah, amazing. And then one little thing when you say, okay, this will be feeling weird or this is feeling weird, it's also not only the pictures we make in our head that make our reality, but also the words we say to ourselves. So why not changing these words, this feels weird, in, oh, that's interesting? Or whatever. I just came up with anything, but you, what would you came up with instead of that feels weird? What would you rather say to yourself?
I like the word interesting. It's no judgment. It's just, huh, like, that's fascinating. That's interesting. I like that.
That's fascinating. Exactly. And whenever now it comes up again, this old saying, oh, that's weird. It's weird when I praise myself. Why don't you just change it in? Oh, no, that's how I used to think. And that's what you did before. You said it already. That's what I used to be. But now I rather think, I choose to think, "Oh, that's fascinating. That's interesting."
Mm, I like that. Yes.
Okay, so that's so great. I'm so happy that we now could, even after this celebration, work on something which was hidden down there underneath this self-praise and work on yourself. And now, Olivia, what's the biggest takeaway from today?
The biggest takeaway is take time and celebrate. Like, and celebrate, it doesn't necessarily mean popping a bottle of champagne, but celebrating is an acknowledgement of an achievement. And the achievement for what I've done in the past, like, week with you, it was really nice to be able to celebrate it. But also, what you brought to me, Monica, in that moment, it's like every moment, whenever I feel this way, should be celebrated. And I should take more time to celebrate and revel. So after we get off this call, I'm going to journal, but I'm also going to celebrate with a nice cup of tea, and I'm going to burn my incense, and I'm just going to sit with that wonderful feeling and celebrate quietly, I guess, in a way. So that's my biggest takeaway. That's the first one. The second one is what we just did right now, changing my vocabulary, like around the word weird, or that feeling. So using words such as interesting or fascinating, when I'm looking at especially praise. And yeah, I in this moment, I didn't even know that I had I had a resistance to that word praise, self-praise. And how weird it made me feel. So that was a huge takeaway this morning.
Mm, thank you for sharing that. I love it, and I can't wait to see you next week. And yeah, let's see what else is coming up, and let's see what we will celebrate and what we will work on. And I wish you a beautiful week, and I can't wait to see you next week.
I can't wait to see you next week, Monica.